So this woman asked the question, what are the signs that a man wants a nurse with a purse? And I'm so glad that this conversation is still happening. This is actually a conversation that made me pop over on YouTube when I shared a video from the original Candace Kelly when she was talking about don't become a nurse in a purse, don't become a hospice care wife. And this is a conversation that we need to have because these are manipulation tactics where these dudes start really love bombing, future faking, coming on strong, wanting to all of a sudden take a woman down the aisle when they've been a player from the Himalayas for like all of their good years. So let's talk about this. She asked this question in the Ask Women Over 60. She says, as I start to move into this territory, she's 42, as a single and child-free woman, I'm wondering how you can tell if a man you're dating is looking for a nurse with a purse. Great that she is looking right now because this is the age that they start looking where these dudes start to fall apart at the seams. And then now they need somebody with some money or some caregiving skills. She says, right now, it still seems like men my age are intimidated by my financial stability and home ownership. Many are emotionally unavailable and far from wanting to enter into a serious relationship. But as I get older, I suspect many of them will want to settle with someone who will take care of them. I'm glad that her eyes are all the way wide open. What are some real life examples of the nurse and purse dynamic? Did you find yourself in this situation? And did you end things? Stick with it. Were there early signs, or does this feeling become apparent once you've entered into a long-term relationship? I am obviously not a woman over 60, so I didn't dare even try to answer over there. But if they are trying to rush you to get married, if they are coming on very strong, they might need to get someone locked in really quick because they need to get you locked in before their health condition starts deteriorating too much or before they run out of money. They might try to wine you and dine you a whole lot so that it seems like you're financially stable. So it seems like they're financially stable when they're not. They can only pull that off for so long before their money runs out because they need to get into your place. You are financially stable. You have a home. And so they need to be able to get into your home some kind of way. The best thing that you can do at this particular age is take it real slow. Someone that is looking for a nurse in a purse doesn't have time to take things really slow. And make sure that they have a stable residence of their own and keep everything separate at this particular juncture because they probably need some place to burrow. I call these people pests that need to nest and rest, or a hobosexual. So if they're not financially stable, if their health is not all the way together, they're going to be trying to burrow into your couch, but head down the aisle really quickly before they fall apart. Let's see how some of the ladies answered. So Frosty Landscape says he is over a certain age but never married, and he seems frail or starting to have age-related health problems, so he never wanted to marry until it became clear that he needed a nursemaid. Yes. A woman I know in her 50s married a man in his 70s. Within a week of their wedding, he suffered a health episode and was hospitalized. I think it's more than likely he concealed his health issues from her before they married. I would not remarry any man, but if I did marry an older man, he would need to show me a doctor's report that he is in reasonably good health. Being a full-time caregiver can be hell on earth. Also, there is a housing crisis and rent crisis. Lots of people starting to go homeless. If a man can't pay his rent, I consider walking away. Great comment. This is a great comment to start things off. Thinker T3000 says, additionally, I'd wait to see how perimenopause or menopause hits before you marry someone. Date all you want, but don't tie yourself to someone legally. I see so many women say they have no sex drive once hormone loss starts, or are even repulsed by the opposite sex. Not true of everyone, but true enough to watch for. We also get saltier and less willing to put up with other people's BS. I think about this long and hard before making the leap. Also, if you tell a man up front you're interested in a romantic relationship, but not willing to legally marry again, and they bail, there is your answer. Pilates says, My sister, at 68 or so, met a guy she dated in her early 20s before she met her ex-husband. Seemed ordained. He was in a deli. They recognized each other. He was a widow. Started out well. He doted on her. Well, 2 years later, it ebbed and ebbed. She was set in her ways now. Didn't want to change sleep patterns. They liked a couple of shared activities, but not most. He had views that were way too conservative for her, and she wasn't as patient. She was glad that they had the time, but she realized she didn't want to marry, didn't want to cook or clean for someone else, and didn't have the passion of the 20-year-old. She also had a career as a nurse and didn't want to do that again. He had some medical issues. It sounds uncaring, but she did care for him. It was just not the right season. Not Dead Yet says, I'm 68 and still date, but even if I met the love of my life, we'd have to have a duplex. Amen. Over This Here Anyway says, before I met my husband, my dream marriage was separate houses. Then I met the love of my life and actually wanted to live with him. Of course, 25 years later, I'd say I only want to live with him some of the time now. LOL. Yomo Mama says, a duplex is ideal. Cracker Sucker says, my husband and I have been together 34 years this month. We also have a granny unit we joke about moving him into and just meet up in the backyard to date. So it sounds like keep your own place. If you meet somebody, they need to have their own space as well. Single Heart says, I love that your sister knew who she is and what she wanted. And Shadow for Summer asked the question. She's like, so getting saltier as we age is normal. Good. It's not just me. TCD says, I think we just get less tolerant of a lot of things. Fools, misogynists, guys who need a mommy, nurse, purse, maid, cook, doing what someone else wants when you don't, dealing with their relatives, etc., etc. We aren't salty. We've just learned to put up with less crap. Now, all of the conversations that we've had around being a wife appliance, incubator, and bang maid, obviously being an incubator at this stage in the game isn't happening, but the wife appliance still, that's still valid and it's still something that these dudes are looking for. If you are not looking to be a servant in your 50s and 60s, that's what you need to be looking out for. Is someone just coming at you because they need a wife appliance or some kind of mommy replacement or a caretaker? Please keep that in mind, because who really wants to go into retirement doing that for somebody? Thinker T3000 says, haha, salty AF over here. Cracker Sucker says, it's all the sweat residue from hot flashes. Apprehensive Crow says, incredibly good advice, even with supplemental testosterone. Since menopause, I am a completely different person as far as sex drive goes. So the whole bang maid may even come into question. It's just like, do I even want to be bothered? And yeah, this whole thing, that's the reason why it is so amazing that there are so many subreddits where you can talk to people, talk to women of a certain age, and where we can have these conversations, because you might not have a person that you trust enough to have these conversations with. Ooh, this is a good one from Charm. Charm says, when they whine about how they haven't had a good meal in so long and explain they have trouble with using a microwave or stove. Yeah, warning signals should be going off. Distracted Senior says this, I had an ex who claimed he could not cook. However, he could read and he was able to buy ingredients at the store. Add the two together and you can cook. Odd Television says, I've always said that if someone knows how to read, then they know how to cook. Just open a recipe and follow the instructions. Acrobat Ad says, hunger usually prevails, even if it's beans on toast. Sounds delectable. Neary Near Us says, I could mix groceries well enough to scare hunger away from a starving man. Maya Angelou. The Curious One says, LOL, I get your point, but tell that to someone who can't get a cake to rise. That is absolutely true. Not everybody can bake. What the Mocha says will allow for that. Baking, yep, is a whole different ball of wax. Baking is more precise. Like when I start seasoning, I'm just, but when you're baking, you have to be precise with the measurements. I love this conversation, is worthy to pick back up. I have not talked about hospice care wives, nurse in a purse in a while, and we have tons of new people on the channel. So chime in where you hear back in November 2022 when I shared this video from the original Candace Kelly when she was saying don't become a hospice care wife. Chime in and let me know.
Sisters, we've got to stop being hospice care wives. We have to. Today, yet another friend I've learned who got married later in life, and I'm talking 45 and above, because it seems that when myself and my friends who have been single women who, wanted to get married when we were 23 to a nice man who built something with us, it didn't happen. And so we turned 45, and then suddenly here come all these brothers, 40, 45, 50, just Rico Suaves. I mean, complete love bomb. They grabbed my friends. They ran them down the aisle. And today I find out yet another one of their husbands has dropped dead. I mean, I just put it that way. He was already sick when he got with her. And what I'm finding is that with a lot of my friends, because we've been professional women, are getting married to these men, and they are simply looking for benefits. They're looking to rest and to nest. It's not in sickness and in health, it's in sickness and in death. So they realize that they can't pee anymore, or their kidneys are failing, or they feel like they are about to have a stroke or have already had one. And then suddenly they meet my beautiful friends who've worked hard to do everything in life, to take care of themselves, to not be one of the 4 or 5 black women who are murdered every day by mostly black men. And they come up, meet my friends, and they run and get married. And the next thing I know, my friends are dealing with millions of dollars worth of medical bills. Not only dealing with the medical bills, but after these men have passed, here come all their grown ugly kids busting up into my friend's house, breaking their noses, carrying things out of their house, and knowing that their dad was living in efficiency. One of them was living with his mother, goes to live with my friend who has a house of her own, and then he passes away, and then here come all of his grown children and grandchildren kicking in her door to take things because they're certain that she's killed him, even though he's been on kidney dialysis for almost as long as, I guess a week after they got married. We've got to stop this, because here's the thing that we need to get in our heads, sisters. If he did not change y'all's babies' diapers when y'all were 23, 24, 27, you don't need to be changing his pants. If he did not push your babies that you had together after y'all got married in that house that y'all got together in a stroller, don't push him around in a wheelchair. Like the last funeral I went to was of a sister, a nurse, who married a man who had kids. She had kids. Sister doing just totally fine by herself. Nice condo. Marries him, moves him in. Few years later, he dies. A torso. Diabetes. Had every limb on his body taken off except for his head. He was a torso by the time they put him in the casket. She's left with his medical bills and dealing with his grown kids who feel that even though that condo was already hers before she married him, that they're supposed to be getting something. Stop marrying them. Stop marrying them. If you're not 22 or 23 and y'all are working to build something together, don't do it. Because this is when black men get 45 in their 50s, they start to realize that they have an expiration date. And that's when they decide that they're going to find the best black woman that they can find, marry you. They make sure you got benefits and you got a place to stay. And then they want to come and sit in their femininity, but didn't do anything for you. They gave their youth and all of their health and their years of fertility and the years that they could have built wealth to some thought, or just tramped around or bought cars while we were paying extra to stay in safe apartment complexes. We built our careers and built our financial wealth. And then now all of a sudden they want to come in and move into your house and have you to take care of them while they lay up on you. I mean, I could go down the list. I have one friend, married a guy. She was totally doing well by herself, married him. 2 weeks later, he's sick, quits working on her medical insurance. She's got $1 million worth of medical bills. Another friend married a guy. Oh, he was love bombing her. I was in their freaking wedding. And guess what? Year after going back for their 1 year anniversary, I was going to go back there for it. He laid in the bed and died. Heart attack, right? Another friend married a guy. Soon as she married him, he realized that he was sick. He didn't know that beforehand. Gets with her, gets on her medical insurance, lives off of her, and then as soon as he got well from his illness, he left her, and now she's paying him alimony and has to give him a portion of her retirement. Sisters, we got to stop being taken advantage of. We got to stop being hospice care wives. If you want to get with him, go ahead and get with him. If you want to move him in your house, move him in your house. But here's what you don't do. Do not marry him, because then he becomes your financial responsibility. And I'm telling you, these black kings, they love to rest in their femininity. They love to come up in your nice house with your fireplace and lay there and have you to nurse them to death. If you just want to have him and you just want a cane, you just want one, here's what you do. Because he's going to move into your house, and then you're going to put your money together. Then he's going to take your money to buy you an engagement ring with your money. Tell him don't do that. Take that money and go get him a complete physical. Get a full physical. I'm talking teeth and everything, because most of these brothers have not been to the doctor since they were playing football and had a physical, right? In high school. And they're missing teeth and all this. So look at how much you're going to have to pay to sustain him for the next 5 years, because most of them are dying like at 50, before 55. So if you marry him later in life, see how much it's going to cost you to take care of him. And try to look in to see what those medical bills are going to be. Okay. Look at his health insurance, if he has any, and make sure that he stays on his health insurance and doesn't get on yours, because yours most likely is going to be better than his, because you will have, built up something and been at your job for a while. Don't put him on your medical benefits. Okay. Once you find out what his health is, then the next thing you do is go get a life insurance policy, no less than $100,000. Get a life insurance policy, go to an attorney, have a will written up, and have him to agree that whatever he walked in with is what he's going to be walking out with. And if he should die before you, which he probably will, then his grown ass ugly kids and grandkids and great grandkids can come and get his things in a trash bag sitting out on the yard, and they can come and get all of that. Okay. The insurance policy will be in your name. You will be the beneficiary. Now, if you all decide that if something happens to him, you want to give his kids, some of that, then y'all decide that and put it in writing, and also have it on video. Because I can guarantee you this, their daddy could have had prostate cancer and been on kidney dialysis for 27 years. But as soon as he gets with you and moves into your nice house and you clean him all up and something happens to him, they're going to come running at you and accusing you of taking his life. Sisters, stop being hospice care wives. If you want to be with them, you don't have to marry them. Do not take any financial responsibility for these men that did not take any financial responsibility for you when you were younger and in your 20s. And some of these young girls, y'all trying to get with these old men because you want to be able to get their Social Security after they pass away. Okay, let me warn you against that, because some of them owe so much money that you ain't going to be able to get nothing once you finish paying for their medical bills and paying for all of the expenses that they have because they are sick. And again, your granddaddy is fine. You love your granddaddy. When I say fine, I mean, like, it's great. Like, I loved hugging my grandfather and being there with my grandfather. But it is something that is just kind of gross about an old man that has not taken care of himself. Because many times if they haven't had a woman to take care of and make them go to the doctor, they missing teeth. They smell like penicillin, shit, and curry, right? Coming out of their noses, hair all up places, missing the side teeth and all that. Stop taking them in. Don't let anybody use you. You've done the work. You've worked hard. You've been that worker bee, and you've been a busy ant working. Don't let him come in and take advantage of you. Don't be a hospice care wife.